Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, great for recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. How was everybody today, guys? Happy Monday. Yeah, as I spoke in yesterday's video, I did indeed have to go out and do some snow last night. Oh my God, we got a good 6 inches of snow here last night, and they were a little off. They thought it was only going to be 2 inches, so at 9 o'clock last night, I got ready and went out and shoveled all the sidewalks as the heavy stuff was supposed to end by 10 and salted all the properties. Took me till about 3 o'clock in the morning, at which point it was still snowing pretty hard. It became evident this was not the end of the storm, so I came home. Usually when it's under 3 inches, we can get away with just shoveling and salting, not having to get the machines out and go plow. I come home, took about a 2 hour nap, and then went out and hopped in my Bobcat and was out till about noon plowing all day. So I'm exhausted, especially having just got over the cold. I was sick all last week, but it was okay. I had a good time. I like I said, these are just parts of life. Like when I find myself getting stressed, I stop and look at it and go, what am I stressed about? Money falling from the sky? Like there's an upside to everything, and it's because I walk in faith today, guys, and I know that not everything's going to work on my timetable. Granted, Sunday night is the least my least favorite time to go out and have to answer the call, but that's just part of the duties of having responsibilities. And honestly, I get paid really well for what I do these days, shockingly well. So I don't have a problem with it. So what I did was obviously I didn't have any emergency calls, fortunately, so I went to my AA meeting because I was done by just in time for noon, so it was nice. I was ready to come home and just go right to bed. I mean, clearly I'm exhausted, right? No, I went to my meeting, and then I came home from my meeting, and I took a nap, and I'll get up, do my video, take a nice hot shower, take some more medicine. I think it was probably not helping my sickness, my cold, any. I still have little remnants of a cold, but I don't feel terrible. I was gonna do the Just for Today NA meditation, which was a good one, but I was at the meeting today, and when they read the daily reflection, it was a really good short reading on faith, and round the clock faith is the title, and we're gonna do that reading. We'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll keep this a shorter video, at least try to anyway. So yeah, guys, round the clock faith. Faith has to work 24 hours a day in and through us, or we perish. The essence of my spirituality and my sobriety rests on a round the clock faith in a higher power. I need to remember and rely on the God of my understanding as I pursue all of my daily activities. How comforting for me is the concept that God works in and through people. As I pause in my day, do I recall a specific concrete example of God's presence? Am I amazed and uplifted by the number of times this power is evident? I am overwhelmed with gratitude for my God's presence in my life, in my life in recovery. Without this omnipotent force in my every activity, I would again fall into the depths of my disease and death. And guys, it's saying I proved that over and over again. It basically, the work I'm doing is the same work I've always done, only now I'm thriving because I don't put anything before my recovery. And the very first thing in my recovery is my relationship with my loving God, my higher power, whom I choose to call God. Call yours what you will. I I don't know the actual definition of God because it's way beyond my scope of understanding, but I like to relay it. And somebody said this to me in a meeting recently, and it just I like the way he explained it, and it's something I can understand and it works for me. So I'll put it like this: I don't picture God as this gray-haired, bearded man up in the clouds like I did as a child, but more as the energy, the underlying resonance of the entire universe, everything there is, right? There's one governing force that created all of this. I mean, can you imagine the intellect and the power and the just uh, what it would take to govern all that's out there, and so much more, and then never mind dimensions on top of that. So I'm aligning with this energy of beauty, of love, of just building, and I feel so comforted knowing that something that's got the responsibilities of this entire universe, keeping planets from smashing into each other, and occasionally they do, but that's all part of the building process too, recycling, right? There's all this beauty at work here, and when you see it that way, you can sit back and look and say, oh, well, how's the beauty? It's a black hole sucking a planet in, and who knows if there was life on that, or like, I don't need to know that. That's way up beyond my scope, right? I focus on the fact that there is this loving God who clearly knows my name, sees my heart, heard my prayers, and is present in my life. And I love in the reading this is like, well, God works through other people, right? I'll go back to God. I mean, any of these stories I've told you guys, or not, or any of my testimony I've spoken over this past year, from the very beginning, me laying in bed, having decided I couldn't do drugs anymore, and not realizing that I was literally knocking at death's door. I hadn't had a drink of water in 2.5 days. God makes sure somebody that's in Florida that doesn't even live up here knows my truck hasn't moved in 2 days and sends people looking for me. The day I got out of rehab and I'm tapped in and I've been praying, but I get home and I don't have a good recovery program under my feet and there's drugs in my house and I slip. Boom, immediately puts me in touch, gives me the download to get out of the house. I walk across the street and there's this girl who was locked out of her car, and I helped her get into her car, and it got me out of my misery and my despair, and boom, it was like a light bulb moment. I like to be of service. Like, these are the things, who are you? I was struggling with that. Who am I? How do I build a life? Well, find a way to be of service, build a community around me. I had the idea of this channel. This channel was coming to me every day when I pray and meditate. It was hitting me like a ton of bricks in rehab, and yet I had so little confidence in myself because, again, when my reasoning would be like, well, it's going to be a recovery channel. It's not going to go viral. It's nothing entertaining value of it. Why would I do it if I'm not going to make money on it? Not knowing all the beautiful benefits that I've gotten out of this channel, which is holding myself accountable, keeping recovery at the forefront, holding myself to a standard where every interaction I was having, particularly in those early days, is like, is this something I can make content on? Because that allowed me to focus on being a better person, which allowed me to then build a better life, build better relationships, build my business. I wanted to be proud of myself, and just being forced to look at myself on camera every day made me put my health at the forefront. And again, I'm a 52-year-old man. I've been through hell, but looking like I looked, I had that skin tag, I had no teeth. These are all things I weren't addressing because when it was just for myself, I didn't give myself enough importance, that I didn't do that, and therefore I precluded myself from all these other beautiful things in the world. But getting me to willingly go on camera every day and look at myself made me notice things about myself. And okay, well, you know what? These are things I can work on. I can go finally see myself through and get my teeth straightened out. I can get that skin tag removed from my face. I can see a dermatologist. I can see my doctor. I can go to the gym, right? Going to the gym, this is the longest I've ever consistently gone to the gym. And here I am at 52 years old, bench pressing 375 pounds. Guys, I walked out of there feeling like I was floating on air. I'm a little sore from it today, and that's okay. I love that kind of sore, that muscle building sore. And you know what, guys? I've done it naturally. I don't take a bunch of supplements. I don't, protein stack. No, I try to be as healthy as I can because, again, I understand there's got to be a balance. I don't want all my focus to be on just trying to look good in the gym. No, I do it for the natural strength. And I love the fact that because I don't look like a gym rat and yet I am stronger than most in there, every time I go and hit the bench press, people literally stand around and watch because they're shocked at the amount of weight that I'm throwing up. Consistency, me feeling good about myself. These are the things that I find when I work a 24-hour-a-day faith program. When I look for God in every situation, I find God in every situation. I finally, instead of looking back and saying, oh, I've been through all this and this happened to me and this happened to me, no, I understand now that I was out there acting like a lunatic, being crazy and reckless in ways that I should not have survived. And yet God not only kept me safe, but He kept me whole, kept me intact. The places I've put myself, the years locked up behind bars, the years living on the street homeless, I don't know another person that's walked those paths for as long and as deep as I have, and yet come out of it unscathed. Me, I've got physical scars, but mentally, I'm not angry. I'm not running around thinking the world owes me a favor. I understand that if I do good things and work hard, then I will get good rewards and I'll get good results. And that's exactly what I've been finding all along. So much so that literally I went from calling myself cursed and all these terrible things to literally considering myself a walking miracle. And miracle magnet was one of the things I called myself early on, because all these good things were just being drawn into my existence at a rate that was shocking to me. It still is. Good things happen. Now, I love the fact that I've come to expect that, because again, what we seek, we will find. So I hold myself to a standard that I'm comfortable at. I give myself grace, guys. I understand I make mistakes. But the beauty of it is I've learned to be introspective, and I've learned to notice them coming, and like the mistakes that I make today don't have the totality of the ones I'd make in the past. I see these things coming. My intuition, that's one thing I was big on. Talking to God through your intuition. That's something I believe in. I haven't really spoken too much about that because it's very personal with me. But because it's, again, something I pray and I meditate on, and I do guided meditations for intuition and spiritual knowledge and things of this nature, guys, it is amazing to me. I can see things happening. Like when somebody new comes into my to my world. And again, for once in my life, and I'm the guys. It's not like I'm balling, but I'm saying when you're walking the crowds, I walk and in meetings and running into people that I used to know that are struggling hard and are just used to manipulating and cheating and stealing. And here I am. I've got a very kind heart. I'm very compassionate. I'm very giving. And yet now all of a sudden I've got crazy resources. Well, not crazy in the scheme of world, but for somebody coming from where I come from, I've got a lot of resources at my hand, and I'm being very responsible with that, and I'm very proud of myself for that. I cannot believe daily. I can't believe that I've saved the amount of money that I've saved this year, because I have a goal. I'm trying to buy my first rental property so that I can buy a second, third. My goal is to have 5 3-family homes here in the greater Boston area in the next 10 years. If I can do that, and I know I can do that, not if I can, I know I can do that, and that will ensure that I have stability long term for my future and whatever else comes down the pike. So, and God has put everything right in my force because I have faith. Because I have faith that that will happen, I continue building towards that. And I thought I gave myself 5 years to buy the first property. We're 12 months in, and I'm 3/4 of the way there. Like, I'm going to buy my first property this year, 2026. By the end of this year, I'll own one. Like, that's a miracle in and of itself, guys. Think about that. 1 year ago, I was 20 grand in debt, 15 grand in debt, like, couldn't make ends meet, couldn't pay my rent, and now here I am sitting here, like, I don't even notice the rent coming out of my account. I could pay my rent for the next 10 years out of what I have saved right now, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to buy a home and eventually not have to, I'll be collecting rent instead of paying rent. That is literally a miraculous turnaround. The fact that I look 10 years younger, I'm physically stronger. Guys, it's beautiful, but it's not. If it was just a matter of me doing these things, I would have been like this all along. I can't imagine where I'd be. But I finally aligned myself with my higher power, God. I became faithful. I started to walk in faith instead of by sight. I started declaring these miracles in my life before they showed up physically, because I knew in prayer and meditation that if I did the work, they would come. So I act as though I have it now. So therefore, when it shows up, I'm capable of holding it. Now I understand God's wanted these things for me all along. I look back, and instead of seeing cursed and this and that, I see the miracles that have always been manifesting by me surviving the nonsense that I put myself through. Knowing full well there's a purpose for me to be here. Knowing full well that God had a plan for me all along. And that's why He kept me whole, kept me safe, and He gave me opportunities every step. All I had to do was acknowledge what was in front of me, take a leap of faith, and be grateful for it, and all this could have changed. But again, that's okay, because if I did, I wouldn't have the culmination of all the knowledge and all the suffering I have now is a tool in my back pocket to not only share my story and make an impact, but to let anybody else know that's been through as much as I have that they too can overcome this. Because literally, I did the moment I said a prayer. And then I started acknowledging and looking for God in my life because God's always been there. God's always worked through people. Every time I've ever needed something, boom, it's somehow miraculously, made its way into my life. And I convinced myself I was manipulating things and I made this happen. Oh, when I desperately needed something, and I was willing to do the slightest bit of right to get it, boom, just God dropped it in my lap. Now, once I started praying regularly, talking to God like one talks to a father, just showing love, showing gratitude for the blessings that I have, starting to acknowledging that I had all these beautiful blessings. I was incredibly loved by my God, and then showing appreciation for that. Guys, just the turnaround in my life, it's amazing. And I love the fact that there's so many people. And I'm so, again, one more great reason to join a group. Now all the regulars from this group see the difference and the change and see that there's something special to me, that I'm making a difference here. And they start showing people up there. Yeah, it's just, it's overwhelming. And I love when I read that. And it's like, yeah, I am overwhelmed with gratitude today. The changes, guys, there's no question. And like, it's not a matter of being faithful. I know there's a loving God because I see the miracles that have manifested in my life day in and day out. So to show gratitude for that, I go out and I share my story here, whether it's whether it's in the meetings I go to, whether it's with anybody. I mean, guys, I strike up conversations with people at the grocery store, at the Cumberland Farms, the gas station, wherever. I carry this message freely and openly to anybody that wants to hear it. I offer, I raise my hand every meeting and I talk to newcomers every meeting. I literally just got off the phone. What's up, Frank? I don't know if he watches or not, but one of the newcomers who wants me as a part of his recovery because he sees and identifies with what I've talked about because we've got somewhat, not similar backgrounds, but we've been through some of the same things. And he sees that I've overcome that. And it's just, boom, God letting me know again because I see God through other people. God showing me that I am a leader because he's sending my flock. I get to be a shepherd of goodness today. It's beautiful, guys. It's absolutely overwhelming. It's absolutely amazing. Align yourself with your higher power. Work your program. Follow these steps as they're laid out. Apply these principles in all of your affairs. And that's the thing, guys. If you want lasting recovery, you've got to carry. It's not just putting down the drugs that creates recovery. It's learning to live the life that you were always supposed to be living, becoming the person God made you to be. We are all made in God's image, guys, every single one of us. So, you know what, Rob? I don't think I'm better than anybody else, but I don't think anybody else is better than me either. We are all here together. Guys, that's the video for today. Thank you so much for being here. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.